Oh, that's an easy night for y'all. Y'all come here and box me up real quick, probably clip me, then go home.
As a business, I understand. I ain't gonna hate on the decision, but as a man
your
and
pride
as
will
a
get in the way.
Fighter with my integrity.
Jake Paul has been putting in serious work with Shakur Stevenson as his main sparring partner ahead of the big showdown with Gervonta Davis. To prepare for Tank's unique mix of power and precision, Jake brought in Shakur to push his limits in speed, timing, and defense. After 5 years of pro experience, Jake feels he's finally developed the tools to compete with boxing's best. Focused and confident, he's aiming to silence critics by stopping Gervonta Davis and proving he deserves a seat at the top of the sport.
For, like you said, a guy who is shorter than you, how do you find a sparring opponent to replicate something that obviously, there's nobody else out there that's Tank Davis? How do you prepare for a guy that's different stature-wise?
Yeah, no, we have world champions. Raymond Ford in the 130-pound weight class. We got Montana Lovin. Shakur Stevenson is coming in this week. So wow. Just sparring against guys on their level and people who have, been doing this their whole entire lives. But we're really focusing on speed and not as much on power. I'm not doing as much like weightlifting and all of that stuff. I'm actually trying to lose some muscle so that I have less weight and so that my punches are coming off faster.
Jake Paul has made remarkable progress since transitioning from social media to the ring. He has already secured multiple official victories, proving his improvement and discipline in the sport. Despite criticism, Jake continues to train intensely and aims to silence his doubters. His upcoming fight against Gervonta Davis represents his biggest challenge yet, and he is determined to shock the world once again by demonstrating how far his skill, power, and commitment have evolved.
Shock the world and even shock myself and show myself what I'm capable of.
When you picture how it goes down, is there something that you see yourself doing? Do you see yourself knocking him out? Do you imagine being victorious? And what would that mean for you? A guy, again, who has only been in this sport for a couple of years. You've turned it on its head. You've had a massive impact, clearly, in just a few years, but it's only been a few years. That's the bottom line.
No, exactly. This is my 5th year as a pro. And so I've had to progress faster than anyone else in the sport to be able to compete at this level and to be able to hang in there with these guys. But I do believe that I have the power and the offense to be able to walk Tank into a knockout like I've done with other opponents and set them up for it. And so I am fully confident in my ability, and I think it would be one of the craziest upsets in a long time.
Yeah, one of the craziest upsets ever, probably in many people's eyes. Well, I think I saw Cardi B just put a $250,000 bet down. It was a parlay, I believe, on Aspen all over Cyril Gahn. But then for Tank to beat you, have you seen that? And what do you think about Cardi B potentially placing a $250,000 bet here?
I didn't know.
I saw it on.
Jake Paul's transformation from internet personality to professional boxer has been nothing short of impressive. Over the years, he's earned several legitimate wins inside the ring, showcasing his growing skill and dedication to the craft. Despite constant criticism, Jake keeps pushing himself with relentless training, focused on proving the skeptics wrong. His upcoming showdown with Gervonta Davis marks the toughest test of his career, and he's determined to surprise the world once again, showing just how much his power, technique, and discipline have evolved.
Man, it's crazy, but people getting paid off of it.
Yeah.
So if he can call any one of y'all out and y'all can get that payday, I say go get it, baby. I'm not mad at it.
For me, and I'm not mad at this move at all for Tank Davis, but I think when it comes to boxing fans, there's an essence that comes with this sport, and it's an essence that hasn't been lost, unlike other sports. For an example, with football, we come from the hitting days.
Yeah.
Can't hit nowadays. You know what I mean? So boxing hasn't lost its essence. They're trying to make it safer and all those sorts of things, but there's still this pureness to boxing that really doesn't exist in sports anymore, but it's still there with boxing. I think that's why people have such a problem with this kind of move from Tank Davis.
Is it more the heart? How do you guys feel being boxers?
Man, once you hear the numbers, I'm like, they're talking, I don't know the official one, they're talking about 100 mil.
Oh, damn.
they're talking about these insane numbers. Like I'm gonna be like, don't take that. I'm not gonna tell another man not to take that type of check, especially for something like that. It's not on your official record. It's an exhibition. I'm not gonna lie here and act like I'm not gonna say yes to 100 million or something like that. But I do see exactly what you're saying about the essence of boxing. I wish they would kind of separate it a little more, because exhibitions have always been a thing. There's always been an argument.
Right.
But they're just selling it like a real fight almost.
Right.
So I think that maybe if we could create a better like distinction, more of a difference.
Right.
There might be less hate on it, but at the end of the day, man, I'm not gonna tell Tank not to take that fight.
And I said this last year. I said create a influencer title. And let those guys fight over there in the influencer world. They can live the world and the life of...
Jake Paul has brought Shakur Stevenson into his training camp, a clear sign that he's taking his preparation more seriously than ever. Paul revealed that it was actually Stevenson who reached out and offered to be part of the camp, a gesture that adds real credibility to Jake's current training phase. To simulate Gervonta Davis's speed and southpaw stance, Jake has surrounded himself with several skilled left-handed sparring partners. This mix helps him adjust to tricky angles, sharp footwork, and counterpunch timing similar to Tank's rhythm. Instead of relying solely on knockout power, Paul has shifted his attention toward precision, movement, and overall conditioning. Having Stevenson, a master technician, in camp adds a professional edge to Jake's unconventional style and highlights his growing ambition to stand among boxing's elite.
Stevenson reached out to Jake Paul in support of him preparing for Gervonta Davis. Help me understand, what is the difference between Boots Ennis reaching out to Canelo Alvarez in support of his preparation for Terrence Crawford versus Shakur Stevenson reaching out to Jake Paul in preparation for his fight with Gervonta Davis? Tell me, what is the difference? I'll tell you what the difference is. The Ennis family actually had a relationship with Canelo Alvarez. Shakur Stevenson has no relationship with Jake Paul. None. We heard, oh, Boots is a sparring partner. How much you got paid for that? So now, isn't that also applicable to Shakur Stevenson? Is he not also a sellout? I don't want to hear anything about this fight. It's against a YouTuber, it doesn't matter. No, Shakur Stevenson is an elite level fighter that is going to be a sparring partner to a YouTuber, and he reached out to him directly.
Even with all the debate surrounding celebrity boxing, the sport's classic appeal remains untouched. Fans still come together for big fights, not only for the show, but for the history and respect that boxing continues to represent. The upcoming clash between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis has sparked fresh discussions throughout the boxing world. Fighter Brian Mendoza noted that matchups like this reflect how the sport is evolving. In his view, if a boxer can draw attention and generate major revenue, giving them a platform makes perfect sense. After all, boxing has always been a business where visibility turns into opportunity, and both Paul and Davis have earned that spotlight. Their fight has become a global talking point, helping keep the sport alive and thriving in an era ruled by social media and fleeting trends.
That opportunity, because this is prize fighting, right? It's about making money and securing your family. Can you fault them for that?
It's two sides of that. Like,
okay.
It just depends. Like, as a fighter, just because I had a draw with somebody, for me, I may run it back. But in a business aspect, if you run it back and you lose to Lamont, and then the Jake Paul fight is presented, you may not make as much money, or the fight may not be as lucrative as it was before you lost. So as a business, I understand. I ain't gonna hate on the decision, but as a man
your
and
pride
as
will
a
get in the way.
Fighter with my integrity.
Yeah, but isn't there a price for everything, Shakur? Like, even if you had a draw with somebody and you were offered 10 times more than you ever, I don't know what the number is, but it's a lot more than he's ever made. You think you might consider doing the same thing, right?
I would, but you gotta also realize, I know that it's not going nowhere. Like, the fight ain't gonna go nowhere. Like, say, because if I really believe in myself,
right,
and I wholeheartedly think, like, if we fight again, I'm gonna win this fight.
That fight still be there around the corner.
After I beat this motherfucker, where you at?
Yeah.
The fight still there. It's not gonna go nowhere. But if I have a 50-50 thought process,
like a doubt,
where it's like,
right,
yeah, I got doubt in my brain, I may be like, all right, fuck it.
Also, in
Let's
his
cash
case,
out.
it might be that he's tired of fighting anyway. He's leaning towards retiring
Yeah,
anyway.
let's cash out.
So he's just gonna get that money.
The unexpected partnership between Jake Paul and Shakur Stevenson has taken many fans by surprise. Stevenson, known for his composed and professional demeanor, rarely associates with crossover boxers like Jake. However, this collaboration represents a unique blend of old-school boxing tradition and the modern entertainment era. While some critics have called the move unconventional, it seems mutually beneficial. Jake gets to learn from one of the sport's sharpest technical minds, and Stevenson gains exposure to a wider, younger fan base. Their sparring sessions have been described as intense, disciplined, and highly productive, proving that even unlikely pairings can lead to real growth. This alliance also bridges the gap between mainstream entertainment boxing and top-tier professional training, signaling how the sport continues to evolve with modern audiences.
Some people.
For sure, it's a lot of people that switch over now. Everybody's like, oh, I've been telling y'all Shakur. I know y'all have not. Y'all all been quiet.
They on the bandwagon now.
Do you actually, we talked to Virgil Ortiz, right? He told us that he be screenshotting a lot of the hate on Instagram to remember to maybe one day comment on their posts. Do you remember certain comments or posts that bother you?
I remember it, but I'm not gonna screenshot it. What I do, I kind of if I see something, I be ready to argue it or go back and forth, but I get up and run.
But I'm talking about
I'm
get up and run.
Run 3 miles.
It motivates you.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I'm
for
talking
sure.
about somebody that in the boxing industry that you respected, that you kind of was disappointed, damn.
Everybody, except for the people that's right there with me, like the Bud Crawford. He's somebody who kind of stayed with me throughout everything. And I think he's one of the realest people in the sport of boxing. But everybody, I feel like everybody just said,
commentators, people that host shows.
And people around me started moving different. Everybody.
Like friends?
Everybody.
Really?
Everybody.
So you had to cut some people off?
Yeah. Yes. I cut people off.
People you thought were friends?
Yes.
When you say moving different, what do you mean?
I ain't gonna go into detail because I ain't gonna need to put everybody on the spot, but a lot of people start looking at me different. Social media make people think a certain image or certain things about you. People I walk into every day, bro, I know you. I've been around you for years. You know me. So if you know me, how you feel as though that you gonna go and look at me different or treat me different than what I already was. So
right.
Yeah.
Well, what did Turkey say after that when on a personal conversation? Did he say anything to you?
Nah, he just said, good job. We're going to get you on the next card.
Interview 6. Since the announcement of Jake Paul's fight against Gervonta Davis, Shakur Stevenson hasn't shied away from sharing his thoughts. Many assumed his presence in Jake's camp meant full support, but Stevenson made his position clear. He looked at the matchup from 2 angles, business and competition. From a promotional standpoint, he admitted the fight would attract massive attention and generate major revenue, which is exactly what boxing organizations aim for. Yet, he also acknowledged that it doesn't perfectly align with the sport's traditional sense of competition. Choosing to stay neutral, Stevenson recognized the commercial upside while still respecting Tank Davis's decision to accept the bout. His composed and thoughtful perspective highlights a mature understanding of boxing's evolution rather than taking sides.
Dean, that's bad. Because you know what that tells me? That tells me that even he recognizes that he's too big for him.
Yes.
He recognizes that he's too big for him.
I'm wondering how this even came about. It can't be that Gervonta Davis needs money. That can't be the reason why
He's
he's
been a world
taking this
champion
fight.
so recently. How could he be broke?
That's what I'm saying. Is he doing this for money? And then why and how is even Jake Paul doing this when no one respects it? I can't think of anybody that respects this.
But Jake Paul has been able to carve out and make his own lane in boxing, and I've never seen anything like it, bro. He literally, we don't know what weight class he fights in any situation. We just don't know. He kind of makes his own rules.
He makes his own rules.
And it seems like people are playing by those rules. I remember a couple weeks ago, the WBC and the Jose Suleiman was very upset that he wasn't able to put the belt on the winner at Canelo versus Crawford. That's a thing that's happened since the beginning of the time. Those guys are very powerful in boxing. But with Zuffa boxing, it was almost like that power was getting stripped away. They were very disappointed. But how can you take those sanctioning organizations seriously when they are sanctioning this.
That's my point. That's my point. That's why I think that this whole thing that we have, this boxing and this MMA argument and Zuffa getting into boxing, our argument is misplaced because things like this should not be happening. And the fact that boxing is allowing this to happen is an embarrassment to the sport.
Yeah, I don't understand why. I talked about this before. Like, I didn't know why they were fighting because, I mean, Gervonta Davis's last fight was at 130.
Evan. Boxing analysts remain divided over the upcoming clash between Jake Paul and Gervonta "Tank" Davis. Traditional purists view it as more of a marketing spectacle than a true test of skill, fearing it could distract from authentic boxing matchups. Yet, even those critics acknowledge that events like this attract massive audiences and open fresh business opportunities for the sport. The irony, of course, is that while many condemn the fight, they still benefit from the buzz it creates. Broadcasters, promoters, and even rival fighters all share in the spotlight. This contradiction highlights how modern boxing now operates within a broader entertainment landscape, driven not only by competition but by personalities, rivalries, and storylines that keep fans engaged.
We have Tank to get a couple of the belts, and you have a undisputed fight for those two in Las Vegas, in America, between two American guys getting undisputed championship of the world. That would be a mega fight. And we're talking about two guys that you have the most dominant, persistent, powerful guy, pound for pound powerful guy, I should say, in Tank, who also is very good defensively. But then you're fighting the best defensive fighter in the entire world, in my opinion. That is a fight I would love to see happen. I would be a big fan of, but I think if we could let that kind of fester and develop for a little bit, and we get that fight, summertime next year, fall of next year, where this is an undisputed fight, I think that's the fight we would love to see have happen. I would be all for that. And I think it's realistic. Like I said, I don't think Tank's losing to anybody except for possibly Shakur, and I don't think Shakur's losing to anybody except for possibly Tank.
Review 8. Former UFC champion and respected analyst Daniel Cormier didn't hold back when discussing the Jake Paul vs. Gervonta Davis matchup. He criticized the fight, saying it doesn't carry the same excitement or competitive value as other potential opponents for Tank. In Cormier's view, Davis has already proven himself at the highest level and doesn't need to take part in spectacle-driven bouts. Unlike fighters chasing big paydays, Tank already has both financial stability and legacy, making this matchup feel unnecessary to him. Still, Cormier's comments highlight the split among combat sports veterans. Some see crossover fights as a chance to grow the sport's audience, while others believe they water down its competitive spirit. Ironically, his critique only adds more buzz, stirring even greater curiosity around a fight that's already dominating headlines.
So on and so forth. So, with that being said, why even want to entertain the fight with Tank Davis? I mean, how much credit are you going to really get, Shakur, besides the money, right? That's what Tank brings. He brings interest. He brings a lot of fans in the seats, But as far as legacy goes, if people are holding Tank at a very low status, what, do you need him? Do you really need him? How you doing, man? Good morning. Do you really need him? Because I personally don't think that you need him, Shakur, you should be here to create your own legacy. You're about the competition. You are about that bread as well. And I think it's important for you to really look at the landscape, man, of boxing and see where your big money fights are, besides Tank Davis. As you know, you hear through the grapevine, I think he even told you on X that, he's contemplating retirement after his Jake Paul fight. You're getting ready, hopefully, if Teofimo Lopez signs the contract, Shakur, to be fighting Teofimo Lopez, who has accomplished quite a bit in the sport, man, and has been in the ring with some legends, Josh Taylor, also Lomachenko. I think that type of fight makes sense. Going up to 140.
In the boxing world, a potential showdown between Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Davis is viewed as the ultimate test of skill. Both men embody technical mastery, mental discipline, and top-level experience. A fight between them would be a pure display of boxing brilliance, showcasing defense, timing, and high ring IQ. While Jake Paul adds spectacle and entertainment to the sport, a Stevenson versus Davis matchup represents boxing at its finest. This contrast is important because it shows that modern boxing can blend star power with genuine competition. The growing excitement for a Stevenson-Davis fight also reminds fans that true talent and pure skill still command attention, even in an era dominated by celebrity-driven storylines.